Welcome to Ellis Fiber's Introduction to the Grease Lock System and Technical Review, presented by NIFAST, the National Institute of Fire and Safety Training. The intention and goal of this orientation and review is to explain what the grease lock system is and what it means to you, the authority having jurisdiction, and discuss its many safety-enhancing features and benefits. Joining me today is Jay Parikh. Jay is president of Compliance Solutions International and represents the technical interests of Ellis Fiber and the grease lock system. Jay has 39 years of experience serving the commercial kitchen ventilation, fire protection, testing certification, and regulatory compliance industries, including 26 years with Underwriters Laboratories. As a published technical paper author and recipient of numerous awards from FCSI and UL, Jay continues to actively serve on the NFPA 96 Technical Committee, the Standards Technical Panel for Standards UL 710 for exhaust hoods, and UL 1046 for grease filters, and the ASHRAE Technical Committee 5.10 on kitchen ventilation and its Standard Project Committee. We're glad to have him with us today to help explain the grease lock system. Jay, welcome and thanks for joining us.
Thank you, Bill, and thanks to NIFAST for inviting me to participate in this orientation. On behalf of Ellis Fiber, the Grease Lock System, and Compliance Solutions International, it's a pleasure to be here.
Thanks, Jay. Well, many of you may be wondering just what the grease lock system is. The grease lock system is a proven and effective grease containment solution comprised of wool fiber media collection filters called grease lock filters installed in front of listed metal baffle filters. It captures grease before it has a chance to enter the exhaust system. The grease lock filter is fully code compliant and is an Intertech listed device with the ETL mark, and it's designed to work with metal baffle style filters, not replace them. The system has been in development by Ellis Fiber since 2006, and the current second generation grease lock filters have been in commercial use since 2009. Installing the grease lock system is a relatively simple process and is generally completed in less than 2 hours. Installation consists of mounting 2 stainless steel brackets in front of the existing filter bank, one above the opening and one below. The 20-inch wide grease lock filters are set into place using the mounting tool, and spacers are placed as needed. There are a few key points we will get to about understanding the grease lock system, but let's first discuss cooking grease and effluent from a somewhat technical aspect. Cooking effluents in the commercial kitchens include very small particulates, less than 8 to 10 microns in size, which cannot be removed by metal conventional baffle-style filters. In fact, metal baffle filters only remove 15 to at most 21% of grease in the 6 to 8 micron range, meaning most of the effluent in this critical range passes freely through these traditional metal baffle-style filters and become deposited within the hood system's ductwork. To remove the particulates that are less than 8 to 10 microns in size, high-efficiency grease filters have been introduced in the last 5 to 10 years. Most of these high-efficiency grease filters are made of metal. Some are of multi-stage construction, and they require regular cleaning, just as that required by conventional baffle-type filters. Not only are these multi-stage high-efficiency filters quite costly and add substantial static pressure to the exhaust system, they require a conscious and ongoing effort and involvement by the facility's management and staff for its cleaning and maintenance. A fiber-based disposable grease removal device, or a DGRD, also known as a grease lock filter, is also a high-efficiency grease filter, although much more cost-effective and does not require cleaning, but is quite simply to be disposed of in your normal trash receptacle when saturated with grease and replaced with a brand new grease lock filter. Jay, this just makes a lot of sense. Capture cooking effluent before it enters the hood system and ductwork. We know that metal baffle filters capture at most 21% of grease effluent at about the 6 to 8 micron range. You have been an integral part of the development and testing processes of the grease lock system. Based on your testing, what kind of capture rate are we talking about with the grease lock filters?
Yes, Bill. We have conducted extensive testing and studies of the grease lock filter, and the filters are repeatedly proven and documented to capture a very high percentage of grease effluent. In the grease particle capture efficiency test for ASTM standard F2519, the grease lock filter captures 95 to 99% grease effluent for 6 to 8 micron range.
So that's a reduction of grease accumulation within a hood exhaust system and ductwork of over 90%. These are significant numbers, from very little grease containment to virtually complete capture, and all at the store level, which can be monitored and mitigated by simply replacing filters on the spot as needed. Compare that to waiting to day's end to manually clean the filters, a much more labor-intensive activity performed by employees in a hurry to leave at the end of their shift. Also, the reduced grease accumulation in an exhaust system extends its cleaning frequency quite substantially. Jay, we just mentioned simply replacing the filters on the spot and as needed. Can you tell us a little bit more about how a restaurant manager or a staff member will recognize just when to replace a filter?
Yes, Bill. Filters will immediately show signs of grease accumulation, and this is completely normal. Filters should only be changed once the filter's interior frame is no longer visible and an inspection of the back of the filter shows signs of grease. Filter change frequency depends heavily on the type of appliance and volume of cooking. Replacing them is easily and quickly accomplished using the filter mounting tool or kitchen tongs.
Simple enough. Okay, we've talked about what the grease lock system is and how the grease lock filters work and how effectively they perform. Let's discuss the system from a safety standpoint, as well as from a code compliance perspective. Jay, let me ask you a direct question. We both know the answer to this, but I think it's important that the answer come from you, because you represent Ellis Fiber's technical interests and have such an extensive background with Underwriters Laboratories and an active role in the committees and organizations I mentioned earlier. These wool fiber filters, are they flammable or combustible?
No, Bill. The grease lock filters without grease on it are not combustible and will only char when subjected to direct heat or flame. Again, we have conducted extensive research in developing the grease lock system and have had the product tested and certified accordingly.
Tested and certified. Jay, correct me if I'm wrong here as I explain in a little bit more detail the testing and certifications of the grease lock system. The GLFs have been tested and certified to UL 1046, the standard for grease filters, as required by applicable codes, and its equivalent Canadian standard for grease filters, ULC S649. For this testing and certification, the GLFs were subjected to the grease loading test and the flame exposure test, as required by these standards. In addition to these tests, the GLFs were subjected to and passed the abnormal flare-up test under the UL 710 standard used to test exhaust hoods to demonstrate GLF performance in cooking-related fire flare-ups. This abnormal flare-up test is not required for the grease filters, but is conducted for good measure. In this test, 1 pint of grease is placed in a pan on an energized cooking appliance under the hood. The grease in the pan is ignited, resulting in a simulated fire flare-up on the cooking appliance. The flames reach the GLFs installed in the hood, which are fully saturated with grease. The fire continues to burn for about 8 to 10 minutes until all of the grease in the pan has been burned out. Yet the grease filters never catch fire, and in fact, they remain intact within the hood. Beyond that, the grease lock filters were also tested under and passed the UL 1046 flame exposure test. Because the grease lock filters have successfully passed the rigorous tests prescribed by UL 710 and 1046, they are certified by Intertek as a recognized component with an ETL listing mark for use in conjunction with listed baffle filters. GLFs and its installation setup, including brackets, also comply with NSF ANSI 2, the standard for food equipment, thus complying with the sanitation requirements and public health regulations. Importantly, grease lock filters also comply with NFPA 96, the International Fire Code, the International Mechanical Code, and the Uniform Mechanical Code. Jay, does this accurately describe grease lock certifications to the applicable UL and other standards? And is there anything you would like to add?
Yes, it does. Very well, Bill. One additional point worth mentioning is that the grease lock filters have no significant effect on hood system airflow. No balancing or fan upgrade is required.
Excellent point. Let us also point out that the grease lock system is a green product. It uses wool, a plentiful and renewable resource, is 100% biodegradable and landfill friendly, saves water and energy, reduces operating costs and maintenance costs for businesses, and reduces air and water pollution. Every commercial kitchen produces X amount of grease-laden vapor and effluent. Traditionally, roughly 80% of that grease effluent adheres on and well into the ductwork, exhaust fan, roof, HVAC equipment, and can extend into other spaces and floors. This unseen fire hazard persists until the next hood cleaning, provided it's cleaned properly to bare metal, which could be 3 to 6 months away. With the grease lock system, that same kitchen still produces the same amount of grease effluent, but it's captured right at the store level, providing a visual reminder and that the grease accumulation in the exhaust system is actually reduced every time a filter is removed and disposed of. Thank you for spending a few minutes here with us to learn a little bit more about the grease lock system. We hope you have a better understanding of what the grease lock system is and why it is a safe and effective grease containment and proactive grease management solution. Jay, thank you as well for being here and sharing some of your experiences and knowledge with our audience.
Thank you, Bill, for having me. If there are any technical questions that our audience may have, I can be reached by phone at 847-383-5088 or email at j@csinternationalinc.com and would be happy to answer those questions.
Thanks again, Jay. From all of us at NIFAST and on behalf of Ellis Fiber Grease Lock, thank you.